All right. We are live. This video hasn't yet started. Yes, it has. All right. I believe we are live. I hope we're live.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. We already got one person watching. Hello, one person watching. Let me turn my volume down on my side. All righty. Hey, everybody. We'll wait a couple of minutes before we get started. And I have another special guest today, a triplet mom, and my phone's about to die. Hold on just a minute, everybody. Well, not really everybody, just the two people, but you're somebody, you two people. I got another triplet special guest mom on, and super excited. Been doing a little bit of a mini series on triplets, and really my hope with that was just to kind of get some of the triplet community on. I'm going to have a dad on next week, and a comedian colleague of mine who's a single dad. I think his kid's 2, just 1 though. But in the meantime, I wanted to kind of continue on with talking about raising triplets. And my special guest today is raising triplet boys, which is ridiculous because I have 2. And hers are younger than mine, but I don't know about raising boys. So I invite you to come on and share your comments. This is a Facebook Live where we talk about parenting as we like. We talk about parenting, and sometimes I talk about parenting and how my parenting makes me feel like a bad mom, hence the name. But there isn't any judgment, so we're not name calling and that kind of crazy stuff. But my hope for this platform is that mothers and fathers come on and say, I'm struggling with this or I'm struggling with that, and we can love on them and support on them. Or you just comment that you're struggling. Somebody once posted, I let my kids play video games for 6 hours. Am I a bad mom? No, you're not. Everybody parents differently, and unless you're beating the crap out of your kid, then no, can't really say you're a bad mom or a bad dad. I feel like with Facebook, there's so much that people post, right? People don't post that you're choking out your kid. People don't post their kids crying and screaming, which I'm going to try to do next week. Get a picture of my kid crying and screaming because they can't play PlayStation that day. But I just really wanted a place for people to be able to come on and say, today was a tough day. Today was a tough day, and COVID or no COVID, I'm home with my kids all day now, and I don't like it. And for those of you that love it, great. We want to hear from you too. I'm not going to call you names on here, and just want to have it a free space. So without further ado, please welcome my triplet friend. She's not a triplet. She's a triplet mama friend, Lana. And I'm not going to say her whole name because 1, it's not on here, and 2, I'm not sure that I can pronounce it. But you are more than welcome to give us your full name, date of birth, social security, and so we can get some new stuff with your credit card information. So welcome. And this is your first time.
Thank you. Yes.
Yep. I had Colleen on, which we know Colleen together, and Kim, and I don't know. I just have always kind of watched you with your boys, and it's through Facebook, but I think raising 3 boys has got to be something.
Yeah, but it's like an instant bond because they're all boys together. They have same things that they like. They'll go off in like a 2-in-1 sometimes, but most of the time they'll play together.
And so tell us your story. You're married, you've got kids, you have triplets. Are they your only ones? How old are they? Give us all that.
Yeah, I'm married. my triplet boys, they're going to be 8 next month. And they're my only one. I don't have any other kids. So it's family of 5. I work at school where the boys goes to school. So it's really nice that, I'm with them. I don't have to have any daycares or anything like that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And then my husband works in San Diego. So yeah.
I didn't realize that our kids were only a year apart.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, mine are gonna be 9 at the end of October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
For some reason I thought your kids were a little bit.
I thought your kids were a little older too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how has it been for you? How is parenting triplets and you said the boys, it's good because they they have a lot in common because they're all boys, and that seems helpful.
Yeah, they are. I don't know, but I guess I have the identical and a fraternal, and identicals tend to stick together.
Yeah.
And the fraternal, of course, he's in his own world, but he's okay with it,
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to, because I've been keeping them in same class, like TK, kindergarten, first grade. They just ended first grade. But I feel like the identicals want to stay together all the time. And my plan this year was to keep them separate because I want them to create their independency.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did that work? So they were in different classes then for first grade?
No, they were all same.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Because the COVID, we won't be able to do that for the second grade until they go back to school. But for the first grade, whenever I meet with the teachers were saying, find a partner. And the twins will always get together as a partner.
Right.
And then the teacher wanted them to more expand and learn, and they wouldn't do that. So
yeah, my boys, as you know, are identical.
Yeah.
And so they're joined at the hip. In fact, they had a play date yesterday, and I said, look, if you're not going to finish, to one of them, I said, if you're not going to do what you need to do, then you're not going to go. And the other one just lost it. I'm not going without my brother. I will sacrifice my play date and not go. I couldn't go. And then he started saying, Nathan, I would never go without you. I would never leave you. I'm just like, wow. I said, at some point you're gonna have different friends. It's okay. We always come back at the end of the day. At the end of the night, we're always back as a family. Even if I go to work or Dad goes to work or Zoe, your sister, goes to a friend's house, we all come back as a family, but he was not having it.
Do they share rooms still, or they do?
Yeah. Do
just
yours?
2 of them or 3 of them?
All 3.
Oh wow. Yeah.
All 3.
See, yeah.
Do yours?
Yes, all 3 share. And then I had the triple deck bunk beds. And the one we just put the third one down on the floor, so we just have a bunk and a single. And soon as I put that single on the side, he felt lonely because he wasn't attached to them. So he
was on the top?
Yeah. So he's been sleeping with his twin brother on the bottom bunk.
Oh, how funny. Well, we had double bunks in the room, which pretty much was the entire room.
Yeah.
And then the boys, Zoe was on top, Elijah was on top, and then Nathan was on the bottom. We couldn't put the 2 boys either on the bottom or the top. It just, we started out that way, and it just was too difficult because they just wanted to play. But we just recently took off the top bunk. And so now Zoe is she feels like she has her own space, even though she really doesn't. She has her own space on the side, on the single bed, and then the boys are on the bunk. Down from each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it works out. We have to separate the boys. They cannot be in the same classroom because they just don't get anything done.
Yeah.
I agree. They just do not.
So do you keep all 3 of them separate class?
No, we would like to, because it would be best for Zoe to not have to be with one of the boys, one of the stinky boys, as she says it. But what we do is we have, this year we had the boys together and Zoe by herself.
Okay.
We had a teacher that said, I'll take the boys, I'm not afraid. And I'm like, all right, if you feel brave. About halfway through, she was like, yeah, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And I'm like, I told you I live with them. But yeah, so next year, well, this year when school starts, they'll all be in the same classroom at Gilbert Elementary, me being their teacher.
Yeah.
And but if we're able to go back to school, then we will put Elijah and Zoe together.
Yeah.
And then Nathan, that has the most difficult time, he'll be in a classroom by himself. And it just works better that way.
Yeah.
It just, it just works better that way. So,
okay.
Yeah.
My kids are watching. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
I had to lock the door. At some point, someone's going to come and knock on the door.
Yes. They just come in my room. Here it goes.
Hello.
Here's one.
Well, hi.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Can you say hi?
You getting ready for bed?
You ready for bed? No.
No, you're not ready for bed?
No.
I was ready for bed in the morning when it was time for me to get up from bed. I was. You're looking at me like that's kind of strange. Hey, when you hit 53, you'll feel the same way.
See this one. See, the personality is so different. Like this one's more shy.
Are those the identical?
Yeah, these are the identicals. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, mine would be right here in your face.
Yeah.
Zoe's a little more shy.
Okay.
Zoe's definitely a little more shy. So
I thought about locking my room, but
that's all right. So tell me about just your day to day. What's your plan now then for COVID, and what conversations are you having with your kids about it and not being able to go back to school?
I mean, we have to do it for the spring, end of the year, school year. So they understand that, we have to do the same things, but I put them usually on a schedule. So like breakfast is what time and what time to what time we do the ELA or whatever. And then, but during the last few months before the summer, I kind of had to I work with a 6th grader online. So I only had to be on a Zoom like 2 hours a day, but starting in August, it looks like I'm going to have to be online like 4 or 5 hours a day.
Right.
Yeah. And then having to homeschool. So.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So I haven't heard confirmed information on how the school is going to function. So I haven't really had a plan, but I moved my desk upstairs in my room because I have my boys' desk right outside of their room in the hallway. So I can keep the door open and I can just kind of back and forth and monitor them.
So will they just pretty much get their work done for the most part?
Yes, they will. They know how to use the Google Classroom and yeah.
Yeah, you're lucky. I'll tell you, mine, I have to call somebody in. I'm gonna have a tutor come in and help out because I can't do all 3 of them at the same time. It's just there's no possible way. I got to sit with Nathan. Really needs that one-on-one. I mean, they're just too distracted, and they're home, right? Zoe, Zoe's a girl. Zoe's gonna go in and get her stuff done right away. The boys, I have to do like, I have to give like treats. Like I get these little gummies, and when you finish a lesson, then you get 2 gummies or 2 M&Ms or whatever. And I was talking to another parent, and I'm like, it sounds like bribery, and it is. But I'm not a teacher. I got to do what I got to do. And the most important part is their learning.
Yes.
right? And I try everything possible to in fact, I even tell them when we see a homeless person holding up a sign, and I tell them, no disrespect, but somebody probably had to write that sign for them because they didn't learn to read in school. That's why you have to learn to read. I really try everything I can possibly try. You don't want to be homeless. You don't want to have to be on the street and walking around having to collect cans for 15 hours a day to get yourself a meal. So let's get this reading done. And then when you're done, I'll give you some M&Ms. I mean, it's,
I do like a token system. I have like tickets. I have all this like tickets. And that's what we used to use for the middle schooler. And like, so like you earn a ticket. It was only hour and a half or 2 hours of work.
That's a really good idea.
Into the school. And then they earn a tickets. And then I made a little sheet of paper with 10 tickets. You can get a basket of candy treat. With 20 tickets, you can get $2 or whatever.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's a token system. Yeah.
Huh. I may try that.
Yeah, they like that.
Yeah, if you're on here and listening, you have some ideas about homeschooling, whether you're a parent, whether you're not, whether you made one kid or 18, come on in and give us some suggestions about what your plan is for homeschooling. I personally would like to send my kids to somebody else's house to homeschool. So if you would love to homeschool 3 kids that aren't yours, let me know. I'll drop off and pick up. I'll drop off, pick up. I'll bring breakfast and lunch and drop off and pick up. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I retired the day before they said your kids can't go back to school.
Oh, you did?
I did. And my plan was to be home with the kids when they got home from school. I joined the PTA and just trying to be around a little bit more because my hope was to be doing more comedy in the evening. And that way I didn't have to feel bad about being gone all day, coming home and having a quick dinner and then running off to a show. This way I would pick them up from school and be home.
Yeah.
My plan was not to be home with them all day.
Yeah.
And I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I think I'm doing okay considering the fact that I don't want to say that I'm not enjoying it, but I'd like my kids to be back at school.
Yeah, I have one that he needs to be, I have to be looking over his shoulder and he'll do better. Yeah. Otherwise he'll be like changing the background screen on a Chromebook.
Right.
Yes, he'll be doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like I told him, maybe your brothers will finish at 2:00 in the afternoon because they stayed on task. But because you're not done, while your brothers are playing video games, you're still doing your schoolwork because you decided to mess around, kind of.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care?
No, that just makes them cry and, no, I want to be done. Okay, well, let's get going. Let's get going. So for me, I think one of the things that's key, and again, whether you've got one kid or whether you've got, several, is really just kind of knowing your child's learning style, right? And so Zoe does pretty well. The thing is that Zoe still needs attention because it's not fair for her to not get any attention because she just happens to be a better student.
Yeah.
And Elijah's in the middle. Elijah does pretty well, but he's distracted by his brother. He would much rather be doing something other than schoolwork, right?
Yes.
And then Nathan struggles and would definitely rather be doing something else. But he does really well one-on-one with the opportunity to have somebody right there to cheer him on. And good job, and be able to say, okay, I see you need just a couple of minutes break. Let's take a couple of minutes and then we got to get right back to it. Whereas when I'm trying to juggle all 3, even my husband and I trying to juggle all 3, I don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours threatening and yelling and hollering,
Yeah.
and most of the time I'm pretty good about that. But some days, man, I am yeah, I'd probably get fired. If I was a real teacher, I probably wouldn't do so well.
Yeah.
And so I think understanding your child's level
Learning
of
style. Yep.
learning and their style and what they need um, is great. My friend Bill says anything but schoolwork. Yes, anything but schoolwork is absolutely, you are absolutely right. And the bottom line is that right now during this time, it's right now during this time, it is my responsibility as a mom to educate my kids, whether I like it or not. I've got to, I had to finish out the second grade.
Mhm.
And now it's my job, my husband's job to start out third grade. And we've worked all summer. So we've done at least, like, before they can get on a video game, they've got to do like 30 minutes of reading, and then 2 books, one that they read to themselves out loud or in their head, however they do it, and then one to us. Just to keep kind of something going, because
Yes.
otherwise you're just waking up the next day and, all right, everybody, time to do some schoolwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's going to be too hard of a transition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So just figuring that piece out. I think I am going to do workstations,
Okay.
right? So you can be at the kitchen table.
Mm-hmm.
If you're reading on your own, we have a really comfy brown chair. You can sit in the brown chair. And then we have an extra bedroom. So if you're working with the tutor or you're working one-on-one with mom or dad, then you can be in there. So that way they're away from each other.
Yes. Distraction. Yeah.
Which, and look, I think if you've got to do this and you're feeling apprehensive about it, just keep in mind, and not just you, but you, those of you that are watching, you just keep trying to do what you can and try the best you can. And that may mean that you try to figure out a high school student that just graduated that you can pay $10 an hour to come in for a couple of hours a day and help out. Just to sit and read with your kids so that you can worry about doing, get some other schoolwork done with another kid that you have, or for the parents that still have to work, like Lonnie, you still have to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You've got to just try to give yourself a break and do the best you can.
Yeah.
It's really all you can do.
I think raising triplets always survival, right? You just gotta be juggle and just do what you gotta do. Yeah.
Yeah. And they give you a suggested schedule, but I think it's getting most of the schoolwork done that you can get done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And yeah, I think for me, that's the biggest thing, is just to not beat myself up about what the day is going to look like, and just get as much work done as I can. Fortunately, my boys didn't get a lot of schoolwork done because they played a lot. They probably are getting way more work done at home than they were at school, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 ratio. I have respect for teachers before COVID, particularly the teacher that had my boys in her class. She's amazing, but I feel like, I would like their reading to be better than it is at the beginning of the school year.
Yeah. But I think kids, they listen to teachers, better than, of course, to the parents, so it's different. So like maybe you and I will switch kids.
Yeah.
For example,
It's funny because when I try to look for a babysitter and people see my kids on Facebook and Instagram and they're dancing and they, may see them at church and they're like, oh my gosh, your kids are so great. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. They are amazing.
Yeah.
However, it's a little difficult when when they're running around and not listening because they would much rather just do what they want to do. And I think it's boys. I mean, I think it's kind of what boys do. But woo, I don't know about you, but I got to pull out the patience a lot. I got to pull out the patience a lot. My husband has just jumped on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What did he say? The principal at our school doesn't like to wear a shirt and rewards good work with kisses. Yeah, that's me. That's my husband. He's crazy. We have a joke that he that we had to fire him because he kept coming to work with no shirt on.
What?
And kissing the students. I mean, it's his own house and it's his own kids. But I said, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't other kids that he was kissing. I should probably clarify that.
Okay.
This was at home with our kids, not other kids.
Okay.
America is not kissing strange kids. It's just kissing my kids. But it doesn't work during the school day. And he has no patience. He just, God love him, but he doesn't have a lot of patience. So hang in there. Again, if you've got some tips, some tricks, we would love to hear it. Put your comments in the comment box because I'm gonna need all the help I can get. And if you're not working and you want to come and help tutor my kids, yeah. Yes, you're right, Bill. Lors is exactly the same as his two boys. Yes, doesn't listen. Would much rather be doing something else other than learning. Yeah, definitely. But I was the same way. What kind of student were you?
You talking to Bill?
Yeah. What kind of student were you, Lana?
Me? Oh,
yeah.
I was good. I was really shy and I didn't really talk too much. Yeah. I was raised in Japan, so you know how it is. Japan, you gotta like keep your comment to yourself and you can't have your own opinion, and it's different culture. Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been in the States?
30 years.
Oh, long time.
30 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So is your family still in Japan?
Yep, they are. Yep, my parents are both in Japan.
Maybe that's what I should get, like a Japanese tutor.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's like strict, right? I didn't mean to do the karate chop hand. That was very racially insensitive.
Yeah, maybe they'll be a little more, you know, like authentic Japanese tutors. Yeah.
Maybe. It was terrible. Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you. All I can say is we just have to give ourselves a break.
Yes.
And do the best we can.
Yeah.
Cynthia is saying, any advice for parents who don't have childcare and have to work during the pandemic? Oh my gosh.
Okay. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said all the moms or the dads, they all got together because they all have to work, and they coordinated. You know, so-and-so stays home, you know, and maybe the two kids can go to her house and all this and that, and like coordinated who's going to watch who on what day.
I think I heard of this like classroom pods where your kids can go to somebody's house on a Tuesday and I and not to speak badly about my own kids, but I think Zoe would probably do really well with that. Which may be a thought, but my boys have a hard enough time in a classroom, let alone at a friend's house doing some schoolwork.
True. Yeah.
I mean, I think they'd have to have a decent amount of their behavior would have to be a little bit on point, I think. I think the other thing is what you're doing, Lana, is you are kind of setting up like this is where your kids will be doing their work while you're here doing your work. I also think, and I don't know what it's going to look like when it rolls out, but I also feel like I know for the rest of the school year that we did, it was only really a matter of a couple of hours a day. Now, if you got to work 8 hours a day, that's a little bit tough. I get it. But I also feel like you have to have a place where your kids can do their work and you can do your work. I don't know what employers are doing now with regards to having to be home and still getting your work done if you're working from home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Could you work a later shift? And what if you can't be at home doing your work? I think that's what Cynthia is saying is, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do if you have to go to work, but you can't
work
afford childcare?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had the answer.
the
Find friends,
last
try to
email-
trade.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. The email I received from my school is that they decided to have a childcare at school because probably that was everybody's concern. My boys go to charter school. So, and then they decided to have a daddy daycare on campus because nobody's on campus. I don't know who's going to be watching those kids or how they're going to do it, but
Right.
they were going to have the childcare.
So I wonder then what people will do, who will do the schoolwork with them if they're in childcare.
Yeah. See, I don't know. So,
I mean, the schoolwork's got to get done.
Yeah.
I have a friend that did her schoolwork. She just kind of did her work during the day and then did what she could with the kids during the day. And then what she couldn't finish, she did a little bit more on the weekends, in the evenings and on the weekends.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about it, and I again, that was at the end of the school year where they just gave everybody a Chromebook and said, all right, go to Google Classroom and then do the assignments.
Yeah. And
I do believe that what they're going to be setting up more this year is a lot more kind of Zoom type.
Yes.
Which will be great for those of us that have a computer and we've got Zoom. But what about the families that don't have a home computer?
I think the government was giving them money for it, or I thought they were doing something for it. No? Yeah. I
mean, I think that part of the problem though is that we have a lot of lower income families. I'm in Lemon Grove, and we have a lot of folks where their only meals are breakfast and lunch, and that's at school. And they're still feeding them. They're feeding them throughout the summer, which I think is great. But if you have no real access, somebody can give you an iPad or give you something, and then you've got to figure out how to get on whatever internet you can get on. But I feel like those are things that we can kind of throw money at it and say we're gonna feed kids during the summer and but I think that there are still a number of families that are really not able to do this.
Yeah.
And not able to do it well.
Yeah.
I think definitely Max James says sounds like college. Yeah, except you're an adult and college is Can I send my kids off to college at 8? No. So should employers help employees get affordable childcare during this pandemic? Well, absolutely. You're sending money down. There is money. There is millions and billions of dollars. I have to think that there is money just sitting somewhere, very specific for something or somebody that people don't apply for, whatever that is. Well, let's unload some of it. If you can drop $1,200 to families and people who are dead because you're not paying attention to who's alive or dead, I think you can definitely, right?
Yes.
Pay the YMCA and don't make the process so difficult. I know somebody now that's doing childcare and they get paid through whatever the state or something like that. And I think she was telling me, and I probably don't have the numbers perfectly right, but I'm almost positive she was telling me that it was like $4 or $5 an hour. Like it was this ridiculously low amount. It wasn't minimum wage, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to find. You and I have 3 kids.
Yep.
We're not trying to find childcare for 1 child. I have to find
Mm-mm.
childcare for 3 kids.
Yep. That's why I haven't went back to work for a long time until, I just got back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of why I left work, just because. And I have great people watching my kids. Like, I have my best friend watches them, my cousin watches. Like, I have great people. My husband's home a lot during the day, so he's a couple days a week that he can be home with the kids too. So I had a lot of support. But I also felt like, I don't know, I felt like it sounds so cliche, but I did feel like I was missing out just a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to be 8 once, right?
And it just kind of, even though they have good people in their life, and I want them to understand that it takes a village and you are part of our village. I want them to be able to go to those people when I'm not there, or, I want that. I want to create that sense of family and extended family.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't get to be at any practices.
True. Yeah.
I had to miss. I remember the first time I missed one of Zoe's performances. Oh,
what did she do? What did she do?
Well, she was cheerleading at the time.
Okay.
I think softball is going to be her sport, but she was cheerleading, and I had to miss her, and I was devastated.
Oh, yeah.
So just trying to not miss a lot of those things. My mother worked 2 or 3 jobs, and had to miss a lot by default, and so just trying not to. But I am blessed that have that opportunity. I think, to Cynthia's question, should employers help their employees with childcare? Yeah.
Yes.
You can telecommute, then your employer should let you telecommute. I get that there are a lot of places where you can't telecommute.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. If you work at a McDonald's or a Jack in the Box or a fast food,
Work in a hospital,
a grocery store, a hospital, you can't telecommute. And so what are those folks doing with, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Cynthia, who is a colleague of mine, is bringing up a lot of really great questions. She said, I encountered many low-income single parents who have no help and having such a hard time. They're also afraid to leave their children with someone due to their child possibly getting sick. Yeah. Sick or mistreated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's tough. And you've got to compensate people. My kids got 2 grandmothers, but one's 84 and one's 94.
What?
They're not going to be there all day.
No.
even though my mother-in-law would love to have them all day. She crazy. She couldn't have them all day. So yeah, I mean, I think that definitely I think definitely people are having a tough time.
Yep.
Yeah. Not just people we work with, but people who are our friends and having a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
If that's you, I don't know. I wish I had some magic bullet for you. I wish I had some kind of magic something for you. I would certainly welcome kids at my house, except that I already have 3 that I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with. But if you've got ideas out there, please, please post. Please let us know, because I don't think a lot of employers are helping.
Maybe we need to all petition to the governor. Yeah.
Yeah. Or what about school teachers? I mean, I have a couple of friends that are school teachers with kids, and they're like, now I got to be on Zoom 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah. They got to
I have to also have my kid on Zoom 4 or 5 hours a day. Yeah. Who's thinking this through?
I guess they don't have kids.
Yeah. And Bill put a good question. How are the kids doing with all this? How are your kids doing staying home? Do they miss their friends?
Yes. Yeah, they do. 2 of their best friends they moved away. So, all the close friends they had aren't here anymore. But I don't know. We met a new friend, and we have a a friend from San Diego visited today. So, here and there they visit, but I mean, I think they really appreciate that they have each other, most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
So,
helps having multiples.
yes.
Definitely. I know that Zoe is a lot like me. All of my kids are very social. We're just a social family. Um, I think the kids would rather be home with mom, but now that the kids have been home so much and not with their friends, I think that they would definitely they miss their friends. And we have, to answer your question, Bill, we have a lot of conversations with the kids about COVID and what's their understanding. And, they each have like 2 friends that I'm in communication with who are being careful and aren't doing much. Like we're not doing much, right? A couple of my friends that have pools where we just go and it's just my family going and swimming in their backyard pool.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to find those kinds of outings and then explaining, this is why we're doing this. This is the couple of friends that you have that can either come to our house or we can go to their house because we know where they've been and they know where
Yep.
we've been. And, I think
we don't get to, have a huge gather and do a play date,
Yeah.
I'm sure they miss that. All the playgrounds are all taped off and so
we run around the park early in the morning. My husband's been kind of working them out in the morning and having them run and do exercises and different things just to get, almost like recess at first period, just to kind of get him out of the house. But it's definitely, it's definitely really, really difficult. But just keeping the communication up is really the biggest thing.
I totally agree with Cynthia about, the isolation that kids are kind of getting. They need to be at this age, they need to be building their social skills a lot more. And they're not, because with the brothers or siblings, it's a different type of socials than, their friends from school or, all the people they meet.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you're right in that, I think it's fair to say that, as a mom, it's my job to make sure that I'm taking care of my kids emotionally and physically and right.
Mm-hmm.
I think also, though, I have a couple of friends that I know what they're doing and they know what I'm doing. And we try to do something at least 2, 3, 4 times a week. Because I miss my friends. I miss my folks. And for those of you that know me, I mean, I'm all over the place all the time. And so I feel like it's easy for me because it's easier for me personally because I understand what's going on with COVID and I still have an outlet. I still have friends that I can talk to and different things. But there are adults that don't have that, that are feeling isolated. And then if you're feeling isolated, then it's difficult because then you have to be there for your kids who are also not understanding why they can't go to school or why they can't call their friends or they can only do it on video. So it's definitely, it's definitely tough. It's definitely tough. Max is being funny. Max, you're being funny. Social skills, what's that?
Is it tasty?
It's a tasty. Crazy. Max, what are you doing with yourself right now? I need a tutor. Can you come on down? Tutor my kids. Cynthia, you're a mom and you want to help? Awesome. I'll text you my address. School starts at 9:30 on the 19th. It's just 2 hours a day. I keep telling myself it's just 2 hours.
Yes.
I mean, whatever. It could be longer than that, but we're
So-
only participating for 2 hours.
Is it the Zoom for 2 hours or?
Well, when we did the end of the summer stuff, it was really only it was only about 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be a lot longer than that. But like I said before, what I'm not doing is I'm not going to kill myself.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm going to do the very best that I can do and get as much education as I possibly can.
That's all we can do. Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
And hopefully, like maybe the teachers will give the kids assignment on Monday and it's due Friday. So, with us having multiples, you work with one kid for 1 hour, the other kid for 1 hour. And that's how, yeah. So
Somebody needs help.
Yeah.
Someone's going to always need help. And I think, Leah, like you said, figuring out, okay, if we can get Nathan on this thing that I know he can probably do most of without on his own,
yeah.
Or maybe I can do
help.
one assignment where I can have two of them together and do these, yeah. It's tough. It's a tough, it's a tough place. Well, and I was talking to Colleen, Colleen was on last week and Colleen went and had herself some triplets. And then after that, she had herself some twins.
Yeah.
And I think her twins are like 3.
Yeah, I think so. 2 or 3,
so she's
right?
got 3 school age and then 3 preschool age. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I would say, though, at least if you have preschoolers, you don't have to worry about school.
Yeah, true.
I mean, there's kind of that. Kathy Mullinger is a great foster parent, and she says, I have an 8-year-old adopted through the system. When school friends were cut off in March, it was really brought back a ton of emotional, crazy behavior, stuff that they had not seen for several years, and it's rough. Yeah, but you're back on track. And you're back on track because you're a phenomenal foster parent and understand the needs of your child. And I think that, again, is taking some time. We're the parents and we teach. And we hope to teach our kids to be honest and not lie and do good and, all that basic stuff. I think also, though, I find myself often being a student to my kids and just really learning them. Again, what's their learning style? When my son's screaming and crying because I've said, you got to wait a half an hour to play on your tablet, I want to say, now it's an hour. All right, now it's an hour and 15 minutes. All right, well, now it's not going to be till 2. All I'm doing is making him cry more.
Yeah.
The parent in me that's frustrated is like, dude, keep it up and you will not play on your tablet until 2031. But, I know how he works. So, and I'm not perfect all the time. Sometimes I do say, now it's 2:00 and go someplace else and cry because I don't want to hear the crying. But I am trying to really understand and learn them because, again, this pandemic part is hard for them too. It's hard that they're not seeing their friends every single day. Definitely. Yes, Cynthia, she's awesome. But she's Cynthia, my colleague, says that Kathy's a good foster parent, but she's never got any openings. She's never got any openings. Anyway, sorry, I sidetracked. All right, well, we are gonna wrap it up. I would like for you guys to keep the comments going. If you've got anything else, any other ideas, or I'm sure that people have probably exhausted their community partners and resources. I'm hoping that there's going to be employers that are going to give their employees a break. And I know that the teachers, at least the teachers at my kids' school, they're really giving them a break. Like, they're really giving us a break. They're giving them a break. They understand that we're not parents. All we can do is just do what we can.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a traditional school year for sure.
Yep.
So, All right. Well, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Glad we get to. Oh, I want to show a picture of her cute little babies. Well, we call them babies. This is her family. Super cute. Oh my gosh. I love that face. I've got one that does that face quite often.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for being a support. If you've got any other suggestions that you want to throw in the comments, that would be really great. Any secret resources that you've got that nobody else knows about, let's share them so they're no longer secrets, so we can help these parents work and school. Have a great week.
Okay, you too.
All righty.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. Max, what are you saying? I heard you talking about no gaming until so much reading. What about those older games that are completely text-based? Would those be any forms of compromise? Yes, absolutely, Max. You're absolutely right. And in order for them to be able to be on a game that is text-based, they've got to be able to read. So yeah, I'm definitely open to it. We have some games that we do on the computer that are games that are not that are still reading, still have to do with some reading and have to do with some mathematics, but they're still fun and they can play against each other and get to certain levels. So definitely trying to figure out that. That's how you learn to read. Yeah, it's definitely. I think there's definitely different ways of trying to figure it out. My kids are not going to learn the traditional way. So we're going to try to figure out the non-traditional way as best we can. Alrighty. Well, I think that's it for me. Appreciate you guys coming on. Next week, I'm going to have a comedian on. I'm not going to tell you his name. You have to wait for my posts. Comedian dad. He's got a cutie patootie little daughter. He's a single dad. I think she's 3. He's a full-time comic and a fuller-time dad. And I'm looking forward to him next week. So watch for my posts. Thank you very, very much for joining. And yeah, see you next week. Bye.